Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for March 18th. On this day in 1965, humans went into space. Literally. Russian cosmonaut Alexei Leonov became the first person in history to walk in space, exiting his Vokzod 3KD spacecraft and conducting a 12-minute spacewalk. The craft was equipped with a special airlock that allowed him to come and go, and he was also wearing a special spacesuit designed to withstand the freezing temperatures outside the ship. Leonov was tethered to his ship the entire time, which prevented him from floating off into space. The first untethered spacewalk was done by American astronauts 2 decades later. On March 18, 1974, video games got a lot more defined. Atari released the arcade racing game Grand Track 10, which was the first video game in history to feature defined sprites rather than generic dots or squares. It did this by using ROM memory for each on-screen vehicle, which allowed the programmers to create little pixel art cars that actually sort of looked like what they were supposed to look like. This was a big step forward for the industry. Before that, video games couldn't create anything more than mathematically manipulated dots, which meant players just had to use their imagination, so being able to create something a little more realistic made games much more accessible and fun. Despite its cutting-edge technology, Grand Track 10 was actually a commercial failure, but thankfully Atari stuck with the idea and kept developing sprites with future titles. Speaking of well-defined on-screen characters, March 18, 2016 saw some of the most iconic characters in gaming history battle each other in a whole new way. The fighting game Pokken Tournament was released worldwide on the Wii U following its release in Japanese arcades the previous year. It was developed in collaboration between the Pokemon team and Tekken developer Bandai Namco, using the same engine as the Tekken games but with the familiar and lovable Pokemon characters. It was well received by fans, but due to the low user base for the Wii U, many people just weren't able to play it. Nintendo re-released the game on the much more popular Switch, where it's found new life.